paradrama tales.
My son confessed he'd been texting a girl on Tinder, even though he's engaged. The shock that girl was actually his fiancée who created a fake account to test his loyalty. Manipulation, mistrust, or a relationship. Doomed from the start, this is the story no one expected. When my son told me he was engaged, I was overjoyed. After all, it felt like the next big step in his life, a promise of forever with someone he loved. For months, the family was buzzing with excitement, helping with plans, dreaming about the future, and imagining all the moments they'd share. Engagement symbolized commitment, trust, and hope. It's a promise not just between two people, but a joining of families and futures. His fiancée was someone we welcomed warmly into our lives. She was smart, charming, and seemed to genuinely care for my son. From what I saw, they appeared happy and ready to build a life together. We talked about their dreams, their goals, and the wedding preparations, each detail symbolizing a new chapter full of promise. But as the excitement built, I also reminded myself that no relationship is perfect. Marriage requires honesty, patience, and most importantly, trust. A foundation built on mutual respect and openness is crucial, especially when you're committing to share everything, joys and struggles alike. I believed in my son and his fiancée. I trusted that their love was real and that they were ready to face the future together. The engagement was a hopeful milestone, a celebration of two people deciding to unite their lives. But little did I know, beneath the surface cracks were already forming secrets and mistrust that threatened everything they were building. That promise of forever felt solid to me, but sometimes what looks perfect on the outside hides turmoil underneath. I wish I had known the doubts, the games, and the lies brewing in silence. Engagement is supposed to be the happiest time, but it can also reveal vulnerabilities we aren't prepared for. Looking back, I realized that an engagement isn't just about the ring or the wedding plans. It's about the strength of the bond. It's about how well two people know and trust each other before they say I do. And sometimes those early tests can either strengthen a relationship or signal that something isn't right. This is the story of my son's engagement, full of hope, but shadowed by a test of loyalty that changed everything. A few months after the engagement, I was hit with a confession that shook me to my core. My son told me he'd been texting with a girl he met on Tinder. Just hearing those words was enough to make my heart sink. He was engaged. How could he be chatting with someone else on a dating app? It felt like a betrayal, a breaking of the promise they had made. I struggled to understand how it happened. Was it just a mistake? Was he feeling unsure? Or was there something deeper at play? My mind raced with questions, and I found myself torn between anger, disappointment, and confusion. I wanted to believe he was honest with me, but this revelation cast a shadow over everything we had celebrated. Then came the twist. The girl he was texting wasn't a stranger at all. It was his fiancée herself. She had created a fake Tinder account to test his loyalty. Imagine that. Instead of trusting each other, she set a trap, watching to see if he would stay faithful or falter. When he flirted back, she confronted him. The whole situation was a mess of deception and distrust. On one hand, my son had crossed a line by engaging with someone else even unknowingly. On the other, the fiancé's actions were manipulative and controlling. Instead of building trust, she was setting up games that tore at the very foundation of their relationship. I thought about what this meant. If you have to run sting operations on the person you're about to marry, what does that say about the future? A marriage should be built on honesty, openness, and mutual respect, not secret tests and traps. This revelation didn't just shake my faith in their relationship. It made me question the whole idea of the wedding itself. How could a union survive when both sides had already started with lies and manipulation? It felt like a warning sign, flashing red. That moment was pivotal for me. It wasn't just about my son or his fiancée anymore. It was about the kind of love and trust that can withstand life's challenges. And I realized that no amount of planning or celebration could fix a relationship that was already broken from within. This is the story of a shocking confession that changed everything, and how it forced me to reconsider what it truly means to support those we love. When I first heard about the fake Tinder profile, I was stunned. It sounded like something out of a movie, except this was real life, and it was happening in my own family. The fiancé had gone to great lengths to create an alternate identity online, all in the name of testing my son's loyalty. What started as a hopeful engagement had spiraled into a complex web of deception. The idea of setting up a sting operation in love is both fascinating and troubling. On one hand, it shows deep insecurity and fear. On the other, it's a breach of trust that could have lasting consequences. Instead of simply talking through doubts or fears, the fiancé chose to spy, to manipulate, and to provoke a reaction. That kind of tactic doesn't foster trust, it erodes it. I thought about what it must have been like for my son. Imagine thinking you're connecting with a stranger only to find out it's the person you plan to marry, testing you like a suspect. That kind of betrayal cuts deep. It's confusing, humiliating, and can leave scars that are hard to heal. Their story became a cautionary tale about how insecurity can distort love. Love should be about faith in one another, not suspicion. Testing someone with a fake profile might reveal flaws, but it won't build a stronger bond. Instead, it plants seeds of doubt and resentment that grow into bigger problems. I also thought about the larger message this sends. If you have to resort to manipulation to gauge your partner's fidelity, maybe the foundation of your relationship is already shaky. A healthy partnership needs communication, honesty, and respect, not espionage. When I confronted my son about this, he admitted that flirting back was a mistake, but he was also hurt by the lack of trust. Both of them had made choices that hurt each other. It was no longer a simple matter of right or wrong, it was a tangled mess of emotions and mistakes. This fake profile wasn't just a prank or a game, it was a symptom of deeper issues that they needed to face if their relationship was to survive. And it made me realize something important. Marriage isn't just about planning a big day. It's about building a life grounded in truth and trust. That's the sting operation in love, the hard lesson about how testing trust only breaks it. The moment I realized the extent of manipulation in their relationship, I felt a deep sense of sorrow. Trust, the very foundation of any partnership, was fractured before the wedding even had a chance to begin. The fiancé's decision to create a fake Tinder account wasn't just a harmless test. It was a calculated move that sowed seeds of doubt and betrayal. Trust isn't something that can be easily repaired once it's broken. It's fragile, built slowly over time, and shattered in an instant by deception. Both my son and his fiancée crossed lines that should never have been crossed. He flirted with someone he thought was a stranger, but it was her, and she set the trap. It wasn't just a lapse in judgment. It was a sign of underlying issues that neither of them had fully confronted. The emotional impact on my son was profound. He felt humiliated, caught in a situation where his loyalty was questioned in the cruelest way possible. For the fiancée, her actions revealed deep insecurity and mistrust, emotions that no relationship can thrive on. When love becomes entangled with control and suspicion, it loses its purity and its promise. I started to worry about the kind of marriage they were stepping into. If manipulation and doubt are present at the start, what kind of future awaits a marriage built on shaky ground struggles to stand firm against life's inevitable storms? The games they played were a warning sign, a red flag that couldn't be ignored. From a parent's perspective, this was heartbreaking. I wanted to support their happiness, to celebrate their union. But how could I, when the very trust that holds two people together was already compromised? I told my son that I couldn't support a wedding that began with lies and manipulation. It felt like endorsing a broken foundation. Some family members disagreed, saying I was overreacting or punishing them both unfairly. But to me, trust is sacred. Without it, a relationship isn't truly a partnership. It's a house of cards waiting to collapse. This experience taught me that manipulation damages more than just feelings. It can dismantle the entire structure of a relationship. And if trust is shattered before the vows are spoken, it's hard to imagine a happy ending. As a parent, facing the reality of my son's troubled engagement put me in an incredibly difficult position. On one hand, I want nothing more than to see him happy, to support his choices, and to celebrate this next chapter in his life. But on the other hand, I couldn't ignore the warning signs that were flashing right in front of me: manipulation, mistrust, and a foundation of deceit. Supporting this union felt like condoning a relationship that was already fractured. When I found out about the fake Tinder profile and the secret testing, it was clear that something wasn't right. I felt torn between protecting my son's happiness and protecting him from potential heartbreak. This wasn't just a silly game or harmless jealousy, it was a pattern that could lead to years of pain if left unchecked. So I made the hard decision. I told him I would no longer contribute financially to their wedding. This wasn't about punishing him or his fiancée. It was about sending a message that trust and honesty are non-negotiable in any relationship, especially one as serious as marriage. If they couldn't start with openness and respect, how could they build a future together? I wanted them to take a step back, reflect, and figure out if this was truly the right path. Of course, not everyone in the family agreed with me. Some said I was being too harsh, that I was overreacting and punishing both of them for mistakes made in a moment of weakness. They argued that love is complicated and that everyone deserves a chance to grow and learn. I understood their point, but my role as a parent was to protect not just my son's dreams, but his well-being. It's a delicate balance, wanting to support your child's choices while also guiding them away from potentially harmful decisions. Sometimes love means setting boundaries even when it's uncomfortable. It means asking tough questions and refusing to turn a blind eye when things don't add up. This dilemma isn't unique to me. Many parents face similar struggles when their children's relationships don't look like what they hoped. It's painful, confusing, and often lonely, but it's also a reminder that true support sometimes means standing firm, because in the end, it's about helping our loved ones find a love that's real, honest, and strong enough to last. Real trust is the cornerstone of any meaningful relationship, yet it's often misunderstood or taken for granted. What my son and his fiancée went through revealed a harsh truth. Trust isn't something you test or trap. It's something you build, nurture, and protect. Their story became a powerful lesson about what trust truly means and what it doesn't. Trust isn't about setting up fake profiles or running secret tests to see if your partner will fail. That kind of testing is born from fear and insecurity, and it only breeds suspicion and resentment. Real trust is built on vulnerability, showing your true self, and believing that your partner will accept and respect you without constant proof or surveillance. In a healthy relationship, trust means open communication and honest conversations even when it's uncomfortable. It means having faith that your partner's actions align with their words. It means forgiving mistakes and learning together rather than punishing each other for flaws. Trust creates a safe space where both partners feel valued and understood. When trust is broken, like when my son flirted with the fake profile, or when his fiancée resorted to deception, it creates wounds that take time and effort to heal. But those wounds don't have to be fatal. With commitment, empathy, and transparency, couples can rebuild trust, though it requires willingness from both sides. What's more, trust is a two-way street. It's not just about proving loyalty. It's about extending grace and choosing belief over suspicion. Trust means letting go of control and embracing the unknown, knowing that the foundation of your relationship is strong enough to withstand challenges. Reflecting on this experience, I realized that trust isn't a test to pass. It's a gift to give. It's the quiet confidence that your partner will be there for you, that they respect your heart and honor your bond. It's the invisible thread that weaves two lives together. For anyone watching, remember, trust doesn't grow from games or doubts. It grows from love, patience, and a willingness to be real with one another. And that kind of trust is the true foundation of a lasting relationship. When love becomes control, it loses its true essence. The fiancé's decision to create a fake Tinder profile to test my son wasn't just a moment of insecurity. It was a form of control disguised as love. This kind of testing can be dangerous, turning a relationship into a battlefield where suspicion overshadows affection. Testing a partner might seem like a way to protect yourself from betrayal, but in reality, it often reflects deeper fears and insecurities. It's an attempt to gain power in a situation that feels uncertain. But love isn't about controlling or catching someone in a lie. It's about trusting even when you're vulnerable. The danger of testing is that it sets a precedent for distrust. Once you start spying, setting traps, or demanding proof, the relationship shifts from partnership to power struggle. Each test breeds resentment and defensiveness. Instead of building connection, it builds walls. For my son and his fiancée, this dynamic created a toxic cycle. Her need to test his loyalty was a symptom of her fear of being hurt. But instead of talking openly about those fears, she chose deception. When he flirted back, it wasn't just a mistake. It was a reaction to a relationship already under siege by suspicion. Love should be about openness, not hidden agendas. When control sneaks in disguised as care, it suffocates the freedom that love requires to grow. Partners start to monitor each other's every move, eroding the trust they hope to secure. If you find yourself tempted to test your partner, it's worth pausing to ask why. Is it really about protecting your heart, or is it about fear and control? Healthy relationships thrive on communication, not on traps or secret challenges. This experience was a harsh reminder that love isn't a game to be won or lost through tricks. It's a commitment to see each other, clearly accept imperfections, and build trust through honesty. Testing might reveal cracks, but it won't fix them. Only genuine love, rooted in respect and openness, can heal those fractures and create a foundation strong enough to last a lifetime. After everything unfolded, the fake Tinder profile, the betrayal, the manipulation, I found myself wrestling with a question many parents dread: should my son and his fiancée go through with the wedding at all? It wasn't just about a ceremony anymore. It was about the future of their relationship, and whether it could withstand the damage already done. Marriage is a lifelong commitment, a promise to build a life together through trust, respect, and love. But when those core elements are shaken before the vows, it forces you to reconsider everything. Can a relationship that starts with such deep mistrust ever truly heal? Is love enough to overcome deception and doubt? My son was caught between hope and reality. He wanted to believe in their love and move forward, but the wounds ran deep. For his fiancée, the insecurity that led to creating that fake profile was a signal that she needed something more than just promises. She needed reassurance, honesty, and real connection. But their way of seeking it was flawed. I urged him to think carefully before stepping into a marriage shadowed by suspicion. It's not just about forgiving mistakes, but about whether both partners are willing and able to rebuild trust together. It's about asking the hard questions. Do you see a future where you can be honest and open? Can you let go of the games and start fresh? Family members were divided. Some hoped they'd work it out, while others feared the damage was irreparable. I understood both sides. Love is complicated, messy, and often imperfect. But marriage deserves more than just hope. It needs a solid foundation. Ultimately, the decision to marry or not has to come from them, not me. As a parent, all I can do is support my son in making the choice that protects his heart and happiness in the long run. Sometimes love means stepping back, listening, and trusting that your child knows what's best for themselves, even if it's not what you hoped for. This chapter is about more than a wedding. It's about understanding that marriage is not just a milestone, but a commitment to truth and trust. And if those aren't there, it's okay to pause, reflect, and ask, is this the right path forward? In the end, what this story taught me, what I hope it teaches others, is that honesty must always come before games in any relationship. When love turns into a series of tests, traps, and secret stings, it loses its purity and strength. True love thrives not on suspicion, but on openness, trust, and respect. Watching my son and his fiancée struggle through this painful chapter was heartbreaking. Both made mistakes, both hurt each other deeply. But what truly matters is whether they can learn from those mistakes and choose a different path forward, one grounded in honesty and vulnerability instead of manipulation and doubt. If there's one takeaway I want to share, it's that no relationship should have to endure deception to prove loyalty. Trust is not a prize to be won. It's a gift freely given and carefully nurtured. Without it, even the strongest bonds can crumble. For those watching who might be facing similar struggles, know this. It's okay to demand honesty. It's okay to say no to games that leave you feeling uncertain or small. And it's okay to step back and reassess what love really means in your life. Building a healthy relationship takes courage, the courage to be vulnerable, to communicate openly, and to forgive when it's genuine. It takes two people willing to see each other's flaws and still choose love every day. And sometimes it means making the tough decision to walk away when trust is beyond repair. To everyone navigating the complicated world of love, remember that your heart deserves respect, kindness, and truth. Don't settle for less. Choose honesty over games, because that's where real love begins. Thank you for listening to this story. If it resonated with you, please subscribe and join our community, where we explore real relationships with honesty and compassion. Share your experiences, learn from others, and let's grow together in understanding what it truly means to love and be loved. Love is a journey, and it's one we don't have to walk alone.